Tonight, CBS Local 2 stands for you and your health after some Coachella Valley residents say that their low-income housing was making them sick.
CBS Local 2's Katie Widner joins us live from in studio with the investigation that's already getting results, Katie, even before it airs, right?
Yeah, that's right. Inspectors with the city of Rancho Mirage say that after we started asking questions, they've checked out some of the complaints you are about to hear. Now, the list of claims against this property by several residents and that former employee is long, but we're choosing only to focus on the issue of mold. It's one that one woman tells me is killing her.
I feel at this point a little hopeless. You know, I know that my condition is irreversible, so I know that eventually I'm going to die.
61-year-old Joan Davis lives at Villa Mirage. She has been hospitalized 3 times since moving to the Rancho Mirage complex last November. Says she's sicker than she's ever been, suffering from congestive heart failure, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease aggravations, and repeated bouts with pneumonia, bronchitis, and sinus infections. All the result, she says, of mold found inside of her apartment, unit number 20.
This is what is growing, what is in the filter that came out of the air conditioned unit.
The Centers for Disease Control website cites studies saying exposure to mold can lead to a variety of health issues, ranging from stuffiness to severe infections.
Joan is basically dying because of it.
John Drennan was the chief property manager at the site from August of 2017 until January of this year.
She has good days and bad days. Lately, a lot of bad days because she can't go back into her apartment because of the contamination that I now know exists through an air test that I had done.
Drennan says he had this air test done back in December after noticing Davis seemed to be more sick when she was inside of her apartment than when she was outside.
The levels of mold in her apartment are toxic and higher than even the mold that's found outside. Similar situation next door with Testacia Manning and her family.
My son is 2. He looks like he's 4. It's probably because of all the steroids in his body from the trouble breathing from living here. My daughter has a hormonal imbalance and she's actually started a period at 5.
Testacia Manning lived inside Unit 21 next door to Jones for 5 years.
Up here is where they drilled a hole in the wall, because up here is the bathroom right in this area, and it was always leaking, like if we took a shower maybe 10 minutes or longer. And so all the brown up here is from the water, and it's going all the way down to over here.
She says all 4 members of her immediate family have struggled with respiratory issues and battled pneumonia.
Because this is all the stuff that we've been breathing in, me, my 2 children, my fiance.
She says the family recently relocated to a nearby unit, keeping a nebulizer and oxygen tank inside of their home. Before they lived in number 21, her mother-in-law Sheila Wright did.
One day I lost my balance in the kitchen and I went to lean on the wall and my hand went through it. And all they did was come in and putty it, put some bleach, and paint over it.
Wright says for years, she and other members of her family were in and out of the hospital.
I just need to know that it's going to stop and nobody else is going to hurt, or there's going to be no more loss of life, or that my grandchildren are going to be okay.
Both her mother and her father dying on the property, she says, from pneumonia and congestive heart failure. Now she wonders if the mold was to blame.
Tell me about the realization after your parents both passed away of the same ailments.
I feel like I failed because they were there for me. They were there for me and my children. And they're gone now. And nothing that I can do right now is going to bring them back.
In here,
it's just sickening, the realization that my parents are gone and possibly from this mold. It's sickening. It's really sickening.
Drennan says he tried to inform the property management of what was going on, and after numerous emails and phone calls went unanswered, he went to the property owners. But eventually,
they ended up firing me, and now the tenants are suffering even more. So I'm trying to still help them.
And of course, I reached out to the property management company, PK Management, who released this statement to us, which read in part, quote, upon learning of possible water damage and potential air quality issues, current management immediately investigated and remediated the units in question. The units were mitigated and tested negative in January and February 2018, respectively, end quote. Now, that quote also went on to say the company has no knowledge of any retaliatory acts toward any previous staff members at Villa Mirage. And when I followed up asking for a copy of their mold tests, they declined, saying it had become a legal matter. Brooke?
All right, so Katie, what should viewers do if they feel like they're in a similar situation?
That's a great question, Brooke. The people that we spoke with are in low-income housing, and one resident said she just didn't know who to call until a couple of weeks ago. Since then, Rancho Mirage Code Compliance has told us that they've investigated the complaint, and from what they can see through a visual inspection, found that management has resolved the issue. Now, we have step-by-step instructions on what to do if our viewers are impacted by a mold issue. It's on our website right now, cbslocal2.com.
Very frightening and very well documented. Katie Widner, thank you very much.